This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. The lead stories are Twitter files, what this means for mainstream media and maybe even the government. Working Apple One Byte Shop computer to go to auction. No real ID has been pushed off for 2 more years. And Starlink pushes back the data caps until February. I want to welcome you to episode 1638 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, December 5th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the brand new listeners of the show. Thanks for checking the podcast out. Thanks for being here. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Please get over to geeknewscentral.com when you're on the website. We want you to subscribe or follow to the show. You'll find that link in the right-hand column of the website. Of course, we want you to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. The newsletter contains everything that I'm going to talk about in the show today. With all the links, you'll get that emailed to you again directly after the show. So get signed up for the newsletter for sure. Of course, you can join our chat room. Our chat room is at geeknews.chat. That's our Mastodon chat server. Say you're a fan of the show for the reason why, and we'll make sure that we approve your account. Or you can follow on our Discord channel. That link is at geeknewscentral.com as well. You can contact me via email, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, or at geeknews on Twitter. Of course, you just search for my name, Todd Cochran, to follow me on Facebook. All our partner shows are linked at geeknewscentral.com. That includes the new media show that's co-hosted by myself and Mr. Rob Greenlee, the Gadget Professor with the Mr. Don Bain. We've got the GNC Week in Review with Scott and Kirk. Definitely check these shows out. Check out our partner shows. Get subscribed to them and make sure you listen in. Of course, this show is sponsored by the longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy. And you can save large money at GoDaddy by using my promo codes. Again, get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and save 30% off on new product purchases. That's a code that just never, ever expires. It's good there for you to use. If you're brand new customer to GoDaddy, well, we've got a couple of options for you. And really, I think the two after this is the better one. But if you just want to transfer a domain in or buy a new domain name for new customers only, $4.99 for that .com. Now, on the hosting packages, this is where the deal really comes in for brand new customers. $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year, which includes a free domain name. Again, $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain name, or $2.99 a month to manage WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. So we got economy hosting for $1.99 a month for the first year with a free domain, and we got managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain for $2.99 a month for that first year. Again, you can also do a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business to business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. Geek News Central listeners have saved an average of 94% per purchase of hosting accounts and an average of $3.50 on each GoDaddy domain name. Of course, using that 30% off coupon works on a lot of the other products and services over. All these GoDaddy codes are non-expiring and been verified to work and are validated every single day. So definitely get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You may not need a domain name or an online business, but a friend, family member, person you should work with, maybe thinking about it, make sure you send them over. It's easy. You're a fan of the show, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. It's a place to go. I think I forgot to switch the show. I did switch the show to public. All right, so everything's good. We're up running there. So let's talk just a little bit. We have really ramped up heavily in the number of you that are sending a boostograms, streaming live sats for the show, in our value for value by using a new podcasting app at newpodcastapps.com. Most of the donations so far are coming in for the new media show. I can actually show the live donations that have come in really over the past day or so. A lot of people are streaming sats live to the show, which is great. And again, boostagrams where people are actually sending messages to the show as well. So it's an alternative to email. And our contributor list continues to grow. It's really a fantastic way to see as comments come in. The show so far that has garnered the most donations is definitely one of my new media shows. But we've had 517,000 sats donated to the podcast, which is about $100. So a pretty decent amount since we switched to the new system. So definitely go over to newpodcastapps.com and consider contributing to the show. It's greatly appreciated when you do. Also, that invite continues for anyone that wants to start a podcast and be part of the GNC network. I haven't had a chance to review the show that has applied. I got to get to that. But overall, this past few days is really, I've kind of trying to focus on Christmas shopping and getting that kind of wrapped up. Christmas shopping's kind of a pain right now. I don't know exactly what everyone needs. Some people are going to get gift cards. It's just, let them pick something up on Amazon or a variety of places. And but I think I'm getting close. I probably have got 5 to 10 more things to get. So clock is ticking here. 20 days away from Christmas. It just doesn't seem quite possible. But here we are. So again, programming note for the show, we'll be doing a podcast today and on Thursday and the following Monday. And then I'm out for about 3 episodes, maybe 4 because of 26 being the day following Christmas. But a little bit of vacation time, a little bit of downtime, truly unplugging, disengaging. So that's kind of the plan. And so just wanted to let you know that. But thank you all for your ongoing support of the show and commentary that's come in, some privately, and some of it's due to the nature of the content. But I think you know what's coming. And if you were living under a bush all weekend, the Friday night Twitter file thread was, I don't think shockingly for us, I don't think it was shockingly unexpected. But when you can see every major media company saying, oh, this is not a story. This is not a story. There's nothing to see here. Don't pay attention to this. Don't listen. Nary a company, nary mainstream media, except I think a few of the conservative mainstream media outlets are talking about this. And I think if you can set politics aside, if you can leave your politics and look at this from a bigger perspective, when political parties, when the government, when the FBI, when big tech all collude together, and it's not necessarily it's something that has happened over time. There is this thought that somehow we are not adult enough using any of these tech platforms we have to be protected from ourselves. That's the underlying thing I get out of this, is that the government seems to think we need to be protected from ourselves. there's more data coming, and it's going to be fascinating, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So, Matt Taibbi, who was given this data from Twitter by Elon Musk and team, he said that the exchange was an opportunity to cover a unique and explosive story. And he had to agree to certain conditions. He didn't announce what those conditions were. But we all know, if we think back to October 2020, we all heard about this Hunter Biden laptop. And I think for the majority of people, they pretty much knew already that it was probably full of dirt, literally. And we all probably realize that because politics are the way politics are here in the United States, that money was being transferred and favors were being asked. And let's just be frank, that's what works. That what happens, not works, but that's just what happens today. People buy influence all the time. They buy influence from lobbyists. They buy influence from political donations. It just goes on. And they buy access. And I don't think any of us can deny that's what happens. And I think it's probably equally true for no matter which party you support. But when a company that is an online open forum takes extraordinary steps to suppress a story by removing links, posting warnings, saying it may be unsafe, even blocking the transmission via direct message, this is really borderline, in my opinion, to a true First Amendment issue. Now, they're a company; they can take off what they want if there was no outside involvement. Now, he does admit, doesn't look like there's any direct government involvement, but there's definitely campaign, and there's things in here where we're going to learn more. But it's very obvious to me that when you have materials where their policy normally required an official law enforcement finding that a hack was committed to prevent the posting, you have to question, why was this material taken down? And there was even some debate within Twitter itself. It took them 16 days to unlock the New York Post newspaper's Twitter account. Lots of people got banned or were given the forthcoming president's press secretary was blocked. It just goes on and on and on. And so I think what we're going to see here as time goes on, if Musk is able to do this, I think we're going to see a lot more politics and how politics and politicians are having this big thumb on big tech and are driving the narrative and trying to suppress information. We have to understand that this is probably bad. When the government tries to manipulate, or political parties try to manipulate the stories, which that's what they're going to do, we have to have some ground truth somewhere. There's no more unbiased news reporting. That does not exist. It didn't exist probably 30, 40 years ago. I think we've just become smarter. So I think it's important as we look at these social media platforms to understand that we're being groomed, and to pick where we hang our hat and where we communicate carefully. If we find out going forward that there is truly shadow banning that's happened, or actual government collusion or all these other things that everyone has suspected for years, I think it's not going to bode well for our trust in the media. Now, I truly believe podcasting in its truest form is probably as close as you're going to get to the last bastion of free speech. Do I admit to knowing all the truths? Nope, I don't. I form my opinion just like you do. And I think that we all can pretty much smell a turd, right? When it's a turd, you can smell a turd, right? When you can really, if you look at stuff through a lens of non-political, if you can do that. The question is if you can do that. I think you have the ability to kind of see what has happened over these many of years. And I guess I don't fully. I just wonder if he's going to be able to find out where all the dead bodies are buried. I wonder if Elon's going to be able to get to everything and truly find out where all the debt. Now, what he has going for it is because it's a public company, they had to retain certain communications. So I'm sure there is going to be more stuff that's going to come out. Is it just like this overwhelming wow? I don't think so. I think we all pretty much realize that if you hear a politician's mouth moving, 90% of the time they're lying, right? And it goes that way over the whole entire world. It's just not the United States. So we'll see what happens with this because there's more stuff coming, according to Musk. And it was supposed to happen already, but I guess they didn't get the files or everything vetted. Not everyone works on Musk time, for sure. But I really want your guys' input here. What do you say? Do you care? Is this a distraction? Or is this, more of what people consider to be, this is conspiracy stuff? I really don't think so. And if you have a company that doesn't have an equal balanced workforce, and admittedly, if you look at the political donations coming out of Twitter, 99% of the political donations by employees and staff went to Democrats. So when you have 99% of the people that are donating money to a political party are working out of a single company, of course things are going to lean to the left. It just will. And I bet you whoever was working over there as a conservative probably had to keep their head down. What an environment to work in, right? Where if you are a conservative, you just have to keep your mouth shut. So, I don't know. What say you? Love to hear your feedback on this, on what you think about the Twitter files. And this is a bigger piece. Facebook has got same issues, right? Instagram, all these platforms have some moderation. And people are in there trying to shut stuff down, shut the story down, not let news get out. And it's not just the United States. You look at what China's doing. You look what happened in India. It's just all over the place. People in power want to remain in power, and they want the narrative to be as they want it to be, and they want to manipulate that. We need to have platforms that we can have an open discourse and choose for ourselves. But you're never going to hear that from the mainstream media. You're not. So we'll see. On more techie news, a working Apple One Byte Shop computer is expected to fetch $375,000. And let's be honest, it would make a great addition to the shelf back there. But I'm sure I could just buy a replica very much cheaper. But $375,000 for a working real deal Apple One, that's pretty freaking cool. And it's already on the auction block. And it's already received bids up to $241,000, but they expect it to go higher as the auction gets closer to termination. So, and it's working. It's been refurbished. So very, very cool. All right, if you have not yet got your real ID, and how do you know if you have a real ID? Typically, in most states, there will be a gold star up in the top right-hand corner of your ID, or a star someplace. I think it has to be gold. Maybe it isn't. But now you won't have to get your real ID for 2 more years. The Department of Homeland Security has pushed back the deadline for real IDs for U.S. citizens from May 7th, 2025. And I don't understand why they've done this. They pushed it back already. They say the extension is meant to address the lingering impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the ability to obtain a real ID driver's license or identification card, according to a Monday press release from DHS. The standards implemented after 9/11 in an attempt to improve security while flying. So I've had a real ID for a number of years now. Did you know that the original cutoff date was decided in 2008? So some states, though, didn't start issuing real IDs until 2020. So that's part of the problem as well. So you've got until May 7th of 2025 if they don't extend it again. SpaceX, for whatever reason, has pushed back the Starlink data caps to February of 2023. I wonder if they got so much negative press that they pushed the day back. It was supposed to be December 1st. And I looked at my Starlink usage as of my billing date. That's what they did. They set it to billing dates. And I was close. I had about 950 gigabits of utilization. So according to update, fair use policy will now go into effect in February 2023. And of course, we've seen a little bit of slowing speeds as more people have been implementing this. So I wonder if them scaring people was enough to get people to slow down. Now, the FCC recently granted SpaceX a license to launch 7,500 of its second-gen satellites. Now, but the only way they can do that is with the Starship. So the orbital Starship tests are going to happen later this year, but the Falcon 9 cannot do the Gen 2. Only Starship can put the Gen 2 satellites into space. So we'll see when that first orbital flight happens. We thought it was going to happen this year, but maybe next year. Former Twitter employees explain why Apple actually paused ads. According to a former employee, the reason that Twitter stopped running ads was because of the event that happened the November, as 5 people were killed and a dozen more injured in November during a shooting at an LGBTQ plus nightclub in Colorado. Apple made what many would consider a very ordinary business decision to pause ads on Twitter temporarily. Two former Twitter employees said that the tech company was protecting its brand by ensuring that Apple ads wouldn't appear next to news reports of the mass shooting. But they're saying that they said Elon was too stupid to connect the dots. So what do you think? Think this was just another opportunity for some Twitter employees to do some bashing, or do you think that's what Apple really did? We'll see. But advertisers are coming back, and they're also offering some discounts. Verizon's fastest 5G now covers 175 million people, according to Verizon. Verizon hit a big milestone. The U.S. carrier now covers 175 million. They didn't offer a breakdown of the type of 5G in that number, so that means it's likely a mix of 5G, millimeter wave, and mid-band mid-band 5G C-band. The C-band network is what's driving the increase in numbers of people covered by their 5G ultra-wideband. Verizon is still planning to build out its availability. It won't cover as many people as quickly as C-band. So where I live in rural America, there is no 5G. A little bit of laptop news. 2022 was not the year for Chromebooks. Well, number one, people started going back to school. But they're also having legal woes. Didn't know this. Legal woes are forcing Google out of education in the EU, which is interesting. Chromebooks still only ship with 4 gigs of RAM, but again, they don't need that much. You're just using a browser. They're saying Chromebooks are hard to upgrade. Also, Chromebooks just keep on going. They don't ever quit. If you've got the screen and everything's good, they still work and perform well. And there's some other laptops out there that are better performing, according to this article from makeuseof.com. Additionally, what were the 5 biggest data breaches of 2022? Well, they say that the Neopets was the number one data breach of 2022. 69 million people had been compromised. The Kiwi Farms, September of 22, was the number 2. And they don't say how many total, but it is the number 2 hack. Number 3 was the Los Angeles Unified School District between September and October. And a lot of data was stolen and posted online. Crypto.com in January was the number 4th biggest hack. Uber in September of 22 was number 5. But dishonorable mentions were SuperVPN, GeckoVPN, and ChatVPN were all breached in 2021. So they go all the way back, but some of those were not revealed in 2023. So I personally use NordVPN. That's the VPN I use when I travel. And they're not perfect either, but which VPN do you use? The merged HBO Max and Discovery Plus streaming service could be simply called Max. Warner Brothers will soon combine HBO Max and Discovery into a single streaming service. We knew that. It seems that the forerunner for the merged platform monkier is Max, which could ditch the more instantly recognizable part of HBO Max branding. Lawyers for the company are vetting several names, but Max is said to be the leading the pack. So HBO, I think, is better than Max. I think HBO Max would be the way to go, because HBO has always been known for pretty good programming. I don't know if that just transfers by just using the word Max, in my opinion. Tesla is making denials of a report that China production cut as deliveries hit new monthly records. According to Tesla China, through the news agency Xinhao, the automaker delivered 100,291 EVs from its Giga Shanghai factory in November, an all-time record and the first time it topped 100,000 vehicles. That figure represents a 40% rise month over month from October and nearly 90% increase from a year ago. That follows a month-by-month increase at Giga Shanghai after Tesla performed updates at the factory to increase production. Seems upgrades may have been too productive, at least in the short term. Tesla reports from both Bloomberg and Reuters suggest that Tesla will now cut production at the Giga Shanghai, a possible signal demand is falling in the region. Tesla said to make cuts to production earliest next week, with reduction estimated around 20% from full capacity. Giga Shanghai was running at full capacity in both October and November. Tesla's denying the report of a production cut in Shanghai. Tesla said media reports claiming Giga Shanghai would cut December output were untrue. Meanwhile, Tesla stock right now is $182.45. I think this is a bargain. I really do. I think that this stock is going to come back large. I think I think it'd be a good time to buy that stock. So if you've got the funds, it might be a good investment. The U.S. Forest Service is the latest government agency to try electric trucks. By 2027, all light-duty vehicles bought by the federal government must be electric vehicles. Hi, Toby. Thanks for checking in. Anita, thank you for checking in as well to the live show tonight. Appreciate it. Here's the thing. You remember I did 25 years in government, 25 plus. Where are they going to recharge these things? I have a hard enough time getting them fueled. Let's be honest. In most military bases, getting vehicles fueled was always a pain. And they're going to make all light vehicles electric by 2027? Yep, that's going to work out well. Once again, did you hear in Switzerland? They're going to be banning, because they are short of electricity, they're going to be banning the charging of electric vehicles for periods of time because they don't have enough power. Let that sink in for a second. You buy a car and the government says you can't charge it. That's what's going to happen in Switzerland. A really unknown tech of Google called Duplex is being killed. Google's shutting down this obscure project, Google Duplex. Duplex is Google branding for AI that does simple but familiar tasks that saves you time, like helping you check in for a flight and those kinds of things. Well, apparently no one ever used it, so they're killing it. So not surprising. You can tell that the writers at The Verge do not like Twitter. I have seen nary a positive post out of The Verge on Twitter in a while. They have a bunch of Twitter haters over there. And it's too bad, really. Climate misinformation explodes on Twitter. 2022 has been the worst year yet for climate skeptic content on the social media platform, according to recent analysis. Whose analysis? There have been more tweets and retweets using climate skeptic terminology in 22 than any other year, according to analysis conducted by The Times by City University of London researchers. That's 850,000 climate skeptic tweets or retweets this year compared to 650,000 in 2021 and 220,000 in 2020. Climate down Twitter is always a dumpster fire. Now it's had a liter of gas thrown on it. Again, make your own informed decision. Make your own informed decision. I think we all know the environment's changing a little bit. What's causing that? Personally, I don't have enough of a science degree to tell you. I can listen to what other people say. If it's greenhouse gases, it's greenhouse gases. But again, all right, let's go to EVs. Well, how are we going to charge those EVs? So there's just a whole bunch of stuff here that just goes on and on and on. Fossil fuels, fossil fuels, fossil fuels. The whole world runs on fossil fuels. SpaceX unveils Star Shield, an encrypted Starlink service for governments. Now, I read this and I thought this is pretty interesting. SpaceX has been providing satellite internet to regular folks under Starlink brand for several years, but government has specific needs that aren't addressed by consumer solutions. So SpaceX is announcing Star Shield, a service based on the same tech as Starlink with added encryption and features for national security applications. SpaceX says Star Shield will offer communication-hosted payloads and Earth observations to government customers. So today, in the government, you can pick up a phone and dial on a commercial telephone line to another person on the other end that has another device. You both can enable an encrypted phone call over the regular telephone lines. You can send encrypted data with higher encryption over the regular internet, although it normally doesn't go there. It goes via other means for the government. It goes through a private internet, but it's still encrypted. It's classified. You're not going to eat all this. So end-to-end user data encryption is pretty much established with most countries, the United States especially. Ciphers and keys and different types of things are employed to cryptographically restrict people from being able to see what's in the data. It's still zeros and ones, but in the other end, zeros and ones have to be decoded, and, it's using cryptography and the tools that are currently available to make it readable. So, but I find it interesting here that Starlink, with added encryption and features for national security applications, SpaceX says Starshield will offer communication hosted payloads and Earth observations to government customers. Earth observations. Naturally, a public-facing webpage for a secure government communication product doesn't have much in the way of detail. The current Starlink service already provides end-to-end user data encryption, but the national security version will feature additional high-assurance cryptographic capability. Oh, yeah, it will. For secure processing and delivery of classified data, Starshield can also support satellites with sensing payloads, listening payloads, which may mean spy satellites. SpaceX said it will even design custom payloads for government customers. The Falcon 9 launch platform will also be a boon to Starshield. SpaceX calls attention to its ongoing partnership with the DoD as evidence of its national security chops. The Falcon 9 is already certified to carry classified payloads for the United States government. The company says it can design Starshield systems from the ground up, supporting whatever feature the customer wants. For example, Starshield supports integrating existing government satellites into the network via its inter-satellite laser communication system. So, I bet you that's some cool stuff to talk about for those that are in the know. Very, very, very cool stuff. According to NASA, you're getting warmer. NASA's thermal mole reveals active mantle plume on Mars. Discovery shows astrobiological potential of subsurface habitable environments. Isn't that interesting? So basically, the data model suggests the plume has a diameter about 4,000 kilometers and lies below the northern plains of Mars, located in the Ecelian Planitia region. The plume could explain the area's volcanic and seismic activity. The research paper is published in Today in National Astronomy. Although there is plenty of evidence of volcanic activity on the Martian surface, including the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, most of the activity took place during a 500 million period about 4 billion years ago. But in 2015, NASA set in place to build a probe which could reveal more about the geological activity on Earth Proximity Sidekick. So they have. And they think it's kind of warm under the mantle. They found where InSight touchdown sits over a mantle plume of hot material that's 95 to 285 Kelvin warmer than its surroundings. The present active plume drives local sustained geological activity, include Mars quakes, detected by InSight, and is a cause of slow opening of the crust beneath the Cerebeus Foraci. Okay, that's a lot of words. We got a pretty active volcano in the Big Island of Hawaii right now. She's going pretty hot and steady. So, well, maybe we'll be underground in Mars. Adobe will sell AI-made stock images. Adobe is opening its stock images service to creations made with the help of generative AI programs like DALL-E and Stable Diffusion, the company tells Axios. While some see the emerging AI creation tool as a threat to job or a legal minefield or both, Adobe is embracing them. At its Max conference, Adobe outlined a broad role it sees in generative AI playing in the future of content generation, it sees AI as a complement to, not a replacement for human artists. Adobe says it's now accepting images submitted from artists who have made such use of generative AI in the same terms as other works, but requires that they be labeled as such. It's quietly started testing such images before officially announcing the move today. Interesting move by them. Our own Geek News Central writer reports that Pantone is the color of the year. Pantone color of the year is Viva Magneta. So Viva Magneta is the color of the year. Official Pantone 18-1750. The color vibrates with vine and vigor. It's a shade rooted in nature, descending from the red family and expressive, a new signal of strength. Viva Magneta is brave and fearless and a pulsating color who is exuberant, promotes a joyous and optimistic celebration, writing a new narrative. Okay. Pantone is the new color of the year. Viva Pantone, Viva Magneta. My goodness. Color year by Pantone is Viva Magneta. Pixel 7 update brings promised clear calling and free VPN. Other updates include Pixel Watch sleep tracking and voice transcription from multiple speakers. So if for Pixel 7 and Pixel Pro users, you can now use the Google One VPN on their phones for free rather than buying it bundled for a $10 per month storage plan. Although Google VPN doesn't support regional location switching, it secures your browsing activity on the web and in apps. So the regional location switching is the key here if you want to travel and still have access to some of the same services you do in the United States while you're in another country. The Facebook dating, is that still going? Facebook dating finally adds age verification. They will ask users to provide a proof of ID or a video selfie to confirm their age. So that's amazing. Why have they not been age checking up to this point? It's a good question. So, anyway, link will be up in the show notes for those of you that are on Facebook dating. DHL has ordered 2,000 Ford E-Transit electric delivery vans. Some of the vehicles are already out making deliveries. DHL is turning to Ford to help electrify 60% of its delivery fleet by the end of the decade. The order is part of a €7 billion investment DHL has set aside through the end of the decade to build zero-emission fleet. Ford notes it has already delivered some of these vans covered by the deal, and the vehicles are handling express deliveries throughout Europe and the United States, or in the Americas. So that's Americas meaning South America, Central America, and North America. So now DHL has 27,000 vehicles total, so 2,000 is just a drop in the bucket. And I'm going to, be honest with you, I've been researching van life and looking at Sprinter vans and everything, and I can't afford one. I mean, these just plain Jane delivery vans are skyrocketing in price, although the market's softening a little bit on it. It's just crazy how much some of those. Now, I understand the diesel versions and the four-wheel drive versions, while they're insanely expensive, but if you're just gonna, used ones are like 40 grand with 100,000 miles on them, and then you probably got another 20 or 25 or 30,000 to build out a van life van if you're going to build one yourself. I'm sure you can do it cheaper, but as soon as you start adding electronics and batteries and all that stuff, that's when the price goes through the roof. Some of these that have been built out 100,000 plus. It's like, really? It's like, it blows me away, to be kind of honest with you, because you can buy a trailer that you put it's a fifth wheel type of travel trailer, and they are at 100,000. They're huge, and yet you got to self-contained vehicle that's $40,000 with $50,000 or $60,000 worth of upgrades inside? Come on. It's a little insane. It really is. It's a little excessive. So I don't know. It's cool, great way to be mobile, but not at an $800 to $1,000 a month payment. It's not. I'm thinking $300-$400 payment. Well, yeah, if you put $50,000 down, you might get one. But who's got $50K laying around? My God. Smartphones traded their wow factor for peace of mind in 2022. Tech giants are finding new ways to make smartphones feel like an even more crucial part of your daily life. The next big thing may not be immersive augmented reality or a phone that folds in half. It could be finding new ways to get more out of your phone. That message rang clear through 22 as companies Apple, Samsung, and new ways to make our phones more practical, reliable, and private. This year's offerings lack the wow factor that defined smartphones' first decade. So, yeah, we're just getting upgrades, right? And most people consider their phone a safety net. And, it was always about how big the camera was or screen size, etc. But now it's, about services like emergency SOS and that type of stuff, digital driver's license. So what is your biggest value out of your smartphone today? Astronomers say that an asteroid impact may have caused a mega tsunami on Mars 3.4 billion years ago. I'm not going to get into the details, but this is part of a study, and this is all the way back from Viking 1. They're pulling some data. So that took a while to process. The EU hosted a 24-hour party in its 400,000 metaverse to appeal to young people, but pretty much no one showed up. Check this out. The EU spent $407,000 in a metaverse venue to promote a new strategy. But the 24-hour launch party saw just a handful of attendees. One journalist who attended said he was one of just 6 people at the event. The EU hosted this event. The event was billed as a beach party offering music and fun to launch the EU's global gateway strategy. Depressing, embarrassing, and digital garbage were among the department's first responses to underwhelming online venue. The EU told the news site that its metaverse aimed to increase awareness among 18 to 35-year-olds, primarily on TikTok and Instagram, who aren't politically engaged. But as it moved to promotion video to virtual reality, it seems the message didn't reach too many people. So I would love to see what they really did there. COVID restrictions hit iPhone maker Foxconn. And Foxconn says its revenue in November is down 11% compared to the same time, the same month in 2021 because of COVID. So, and protest. That's probably Tim Cook's biggest issue right now is what's going on in that factory. Nothing is a phone manufacturer. Nothing in talks to launch a new smartphone in the U.S. There's no phone stateside yet because of its unique customization of U.S. carriers. After sticking to markets in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, smartphone company Nothing may launch a future model in the U.S. Founder Carl Pei told CNBC, he said the Nothing Phone 1 isn't available stateside because the company wasn't ready to deal with the complexities of the market. Now we're in discussions with some of the carriers in the U.S. potentially launch a future product there. And what does this thing run on? It's an Android. The Nothing Phone has a unique light-up, transparent back and is designed to compete with the mid-range against Apple's phone SE. The company said it sold 500,000 units since its launch in July, along with 600,000 of its wireless earbuds. So they say they have no margin on the phone right now. Again, I don't know if it runs on Android or what, but Nothing. That's the name of the company. Kind of weird name. Sam Bankman-Fried, the Ponzi schemer, in my opinion, is taking aim at the new CEO, John Ray, in a new interview. The exiled former exchange boss claims that the new CEO has been icing him since he took the helm. John Ray and his team do not communicate with me. They have not responded, and he has not responded to a single message I've sent him, Bankman-Fried said. His team does not, in general, work with me or, care about what I have to say. No kidding. In my opinion, you're a criminal. They don't want to be associated with a criminal because they know you're going to be arrested, Sam. The former FTX spoke on The Scoop, the Block podcast hosted by Frank Chaparro, who conducted the nearly 2-hour interview. The wide-ranging interview covered Bankman-Fried's involvement with Alameda Research trading firm, his dealing with policymakers, and whether FTX might have quietly funneled money to Alameda. He says there have been a lot of statements that have been made that have been put on legal record that I know to be false. I don't know if they were intentionally lying or if they were just an honest mistake because of people not consulting with anyone who knew where any of these records were. But there have been cases where, it's been XYZ did not exist. And I'm stating it and I am staring at a copy of XYZ, and none of my emails have been returned. So anyway, this guy's just trying to cover six. He said that FTX was not a Ponzi scheme. Really? To me, it really looks like it was a Ponzi scheme. Did my mouse just quit? Oh, this would be very bad. Where is my mouse? I think my mouse just failed. All right, how am I going to do this? I have a couple of good articles left. Are you kidding me? You hear me smacking my mouse to try to get it to work? It didn't warn me that there was a battery issue. This is what I get for not, okay, the mouse started working again after I rubbed the battery. Okay. Jeez. All right, but anyway, I think FTX was a Ponzi scam in my opinion, but did you lose any money? We haven't heard from anybody in this audience that lost any money. Elon Musk says there was a single breaking point that made him buy Twitter, but that he feared a rise in online groupthink. It's not like, the Babylon Bee got banned. That's why I bought Twitter. That would be crazy, he said. Musk said the general concerns about free speech online motivated him to purchase Twitter. But Elon also says Twitter's team was too intense recently with suspending false accounts and is now moving to chill mode. A lot of people got suspended while they were going after what they assumed were false accounts here recently. All my accounts are still online, and so they're trying to kill bots and fake accounts. So they're trying to do a cleanup over there, and I hope they're very, very successful. All right, finally tonight, there's an article over at Stratechery, STRATECHERY. And have you heard about OpenAI Chat GPT? I was able to play with this before. I guess but they've just revealed it. Maybe I got an early beta look. So everyone's been talking about this Chat GPT like crazily for the last couple of days, but I saw this more than a month or two ago. So I'm going to go check this out. And I went over there and I had an account already and I got in, and it's about asking questions. And I have asked it a number of questions before, and I asked some of the same questions again about podcasting, if it knew who I was, and the show was, and no. Some general stuff it got right. But what most people are finding is that it knows some things, but it gets a lot wrong. So ChatGPT might be something fun to play with, but this is a good article. And he said the question they asked, and it was because his daughter was doing a paper on the trial of Napoleon. And he wrote, did Thomas Hobbes believe in separation of powers? I don't know what that has to do. For her year-brain class, asked for help in her role as Thomas Hobbes, witness for the defense. Well, anyway, I guess I don't know history enough. But anyway, he asked, did Thomas Hobbes believe in the separation of powers? And the thing gave a 3-paragraph answer. He says that is a confident answer, complete with supporting evidence and a citation is Hobbes' work, and it is completely wrong. Hobbes was a proponent of absolutism, and the belief that the only workable alternative to anarchy. So basically, it gave the wrong answer. But anyway, this is a interesting platform. Coders are saying it's pretty impressive, but just answering normal questions, it's not doing so well. But OpenAI has really been the clear leader in offering API access to AI capabilities. So it's still, again, it's a work in progress. It does calculations and those types of things and definitions. And so anyway, it's interesting. So this is a very long article. It'll take you 10 minutes to get through. It talks about the code questions. It talks about just asking general questions. It talks about a variety of different things. You can run a virtual machine inside of GBT too. Run a virtual code, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, definitely check it out. And it's been my pleasure bringing you a show today. We have been lit. We've got the inside access to send a live item lit tag, which is exciting. So some of you may actually be listening on the new podcast app and listening to the show live. I'm trying to get into my comment page. And yeah, there was no new comments since the last show. But for those of you that are adopting some of the new podcast apps, I appreciate that you're doing it. And appreciate those of you that are live streaming sats to the show. It's fantastic. It helps can transfer those into fiat funds. So I definitely appreciate you all being here. Again, if you have comments about today's show, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, at Geek News on Twitter. Of course, I am at Geek News at geeknews.chat. That's my Mastodon address. And of course, you can always, if you're using any of the new podcast apps, you can send a boostagram with your comments to the show, which I will read at the beginning of the show. Those get priority reads on the podcast for those of you that are being early adopters. It's been my pleasure bringing the podcast tonight. You all stay safe. We'll be back here Thursday with another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. It's my pleasure to bring you a show. You all take care. We'll see you next time here on the Geek News Central podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.